Hello and welcome back everyone to my virtual online classes Fun with Maths. Today in this video, you are going to learn about integers. You'll come to know about what are integers, what are the application of integers in real life. We will see the integers on the number line and then learn how to compare different integers. At the end of the video, you are going to learn about how to add integers using number line as well as how to add integers without number line. In part 2 of my video, I will teach you how to subtract integers on the number line as well as how to subtract the integers without number line. So let's get started. But before digging into the topic, let me recall some of the very basic concepts for you. Now, as you all can see, inside the basket, there are 5 different balls and I can count them. So these countable numbers are known as natural numbers and they start with 1. What if I start taking the balls one by one and there is nothing left in the basket? Now this nothing left in the basket also have a meaning in maths. Now when there is nothing, we can represent it with 0 in mathematics. And the invention of 0 made the set of natural number go beyond and it was termed as whole number set. Similarly, in our real life, there are many practical situations where we feel that is there something which is beyond 0 also? Suppose you are playing a game and the rules are when you roll a die, in the first attempt you have to jump ahead that many steps. When the second time you roll a die, you'll be jumping backward that many steps. So let's say a condition where you are to start. Let the starting position be 0 and then you roll a die and here comes 4. So you're going to jump 4 steps ahead. So it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. You are at the position 4, let's say on the number line. Now in the second condition where when you roll the die, whatever number appears, you are going to jump backward that many steps. So from 4, if you start jumping backward, you are going to be crossing the starting point also. So where are you? If starting point was considered to be 0, now you are somewhere beyond 0. Where are you? At what position? So you might think over here, I am at what position? And what numbering should I keep for my position? Isn't it? And there are many more situations if I start taking for a very basic situation where you have started a business and you go ahead with profit and loss, profit and loss. There are many times you have profits and there are many times when you are a loss. So how do you note down this profit and loss? One way is we can write all profits in the column of profit and all the losses in the column of loss. Suppose, for example, you get a situation where 3 friends who have started the business with 1000 rupees faced and met each other at the end of the year. Friend 1 said, I made a profit of 2500. The other one said, oh, I have made no profit and no loss. And the third one was, alas, I made a loss of 2500 rupees. Look at the first person and the last person. They both have the amount that is 2500 and the condition that is changing is one is having a profit of 2500 and the other one is having a loss of 2500. So in case if I don't want to use the word profit and loss, do we have any other way of representing them as profit and loss mathematically? Then there are more conditions in our real life. Suppose there are changes that keep happening in the temperature every time. In summer, you have temperature which goes up. So increase in temperature, they can be shown using plus symbol, but sometimes temperature goes below 0 degree. And suppose in the summer days, if the temperature, the highest or the maximum temperature noted was 30 degree, in the winter also it was noted 30 degree but below 0. So that decrease in temperature, if you want to note down somewhere, without using these words like below 0 degree, above 0 degree, then how are you going to represent that? So all these situations were there in the minds of mathematicians who used to work on the concepts of mathematics. And if you practically land up, you also might feel the same thing. Suppose on one fine day you went to the beach and you saw an aeroplane flying up in the sky, which was 1500 kilometer flying above the earth level. And at the same instant, there was a submarine which was below the sea level, but again 1500 kilometer below the sea level. So if I don't want to use the word above ground level or below ground level, then how do I make the difference between 1500 kilometer above and 1500 kilometer below? There has to be some particular way of showing and differentiating these instances. Don't you think so? And for this purpose, there was an introduction of the term integers, which made our understanding very clear without using those words above and below the 0 degree or above and below the earth level. So what was that basic concept which was introduced in maths? Let's again see something which will make it very clear. Suppose from this school, your home is 2 kilometers towards east. And when you move toward your home, you cover 2 kilometer distance from this school. But your friend who lives in the opposite direction and he also lives 2 kilometers away from the school, but he lives towards west. So how are you going to differentiate between the two situations led to the introduction of integers? The one who was living towards east, he will mark it and say that I am at a distance of 2 kilometers in the real life. And the other one will also say that I am also living somewhere from the school which is 2 kilometers, but you two are staying in a different direction, totally opposite direction. So if we start from the 0, let's say all the numbers which goes towards east, they becomes positive number, and with the same distance, the numbers or the boy which was going towards west, they will be denoted using the negative sign in front of them. Basically, there is no difference. The difference is the opposite direction from the school. So we can say that integers are actually the mirror image of all positive numbers, which includes the negative number which are opposite, which are in opposite sides of positive number. They are imaginary. In real life, we use it with the circumstances, but we never say that, I live -1 kilometer far away from my school. Do we say like this? No, it's a situational understanding that if we are talking about negative integer, it is opposite of positive integer. Suppose at position 0, you place a mirror. So all the numbers which are outside are positive, and all the numbers which are inside, the images of all positive numbers are inside that mirror with the same distance as you are from the mirror. Those numbers, those imaginary numbers which are inside the mirror, they are termed as negative number. And together with negative number and positive number, there is a new system of number that has arisen, and that is known as integers. So we can say that with this set of natural number, when 0 was introduced to it, it became the set of whole number. And with the need and the circumstances that led to the invention of negative number, the set of negative number as well as the positive number, we got a new number system with the word integers. So you can say that negative numbers along with the whole numbers form the set of integers. Now, as we have seen that number line with the whole number starts from 0. But in case for a number line that has to represent integers, it will go endless in both the direction, with 0 being the center of that number line. In the right hand side, with the equal spacing, all positive numbers are placed, and on the left hand side, with equal spacing from 0, the negative numbers are placed. Remember, children, the integers on the right hand side are always greater than the one which is on the left hand side. You take any number which is on the right hand side. Suppose you take 0, and on the right hand side we have 1. Which one is greater? Having nothing or having 1 or having something? So it is like something is greater than nothing. So if I take which one is greater, -1 or 0, it's like having a loss of 1 rupees is not good thing. It is better to have no profit, no loss than having loss. And if you take any number from the left hand side and then test, having a loss of 5 rupees is better than having a loss of 6 rupees. So when the number goes towards right side, the number's value increases, and they are always greater than the number which is on the left hand side. The more you go towards the left hand side, the number becomes lesser and lesser in the value. Remember this is going to help you when you compare the integers. And the major thing is that all the positive numbers are always greater than the negative numbers. Now let's see, how do we add integers on a number line? Remember, whenever you are adding, you are increasing the value of the number. So when you are increasing the value, you have to move towards the right side of the number line. For example, we are adding 3 and 2. So let's bring a number line. Your starting position has to be 3. Now, because when you add a positive number to any number, whether it's a negative or positive, you are supposed to move towards the right side. You start jumping towards the right side. One jump, another jump, and you reach 5. So whenever you are adding a positive integer, you have to move towards the right side. Let's take another example where we are adding 4 to a negative integer. In this case also, you are supposed to move towards the right side. But your initial starting point has to be on -3. Then start jumping 4 times towards the right side. You will see you have reached 1. So the key rule is whenever you add a positive integer to any integer, whether it's a negative or a positive, you are going to move towards the right side. In the second case, where I am adding a negative integer, we will jump towards the left side. Now, for instance, it is -4 to be added to a positive number. Let's bring in the number line. My initial, or I would say the starting point, has to be 3. And from here, I will start jumping backward towards the left side. And I'll take 4 jump towards left side. So I have reached -1. Similarly, if I am adding -2 to a negative integer, that is -3, I will again jump towards the left side. Let's see where we reach. My starting point will be -3, where I am standing, and then I will jump 2 times towards left side. You will see you have reached -5. Now take a look. When I was adding 2 negative integer, the result is a negative integer only. Now these things will help you to add the numbers without number line also. How do we add the integers without number line? The key is hidden here. Now when we add a positive and a negative, sometimes I get a positive result and sometimes I get a negative result. Why do I get a positive or why do I get a negative result? That depends on the condition. But here, when I am adding 2 negative integer, I will always get a negative integer only. Let's see the case where I am adding some more number on the number line and trying to verify what we have discovered. When we add a positive integer, we move towards the right side. So let's take 2 number plus 3 to be added to 5 as well as to -5. So from 5, 1 jump, 2 jump, 3 jump. So we have reached 8. For the second case, we will stand on -5 and jump towards right 3 times. So you are at -2. In the next case, where I am adding a negative integer to number which is positive in the first example and in the second example which is a negative, let's see our answer. So we have to move towards the left side. We will stand on 5, jump 3 times backward, and we are going to reach at 2. Now here I am adding a positive number and a negative number, but I am getting a result which is a positive number, isn't it? And sometimes it happens that I am adding a positive number and a negative number, but I am getting a result which is a negative number only, isn't it? Like in this case, I am adding a negative number and a positive number, but the result that is coming out is a negative only. But here when I am adding a positive and a negative number, the result is coming out to be positive. So there has to be some condition why there is a change like this. But in the condition where I am adding the negative number to the negative number, my result is always a negative number only. So I get -9, which is a negative number. Looking these points in our conclusion, we can add the integers without number line also. We'll just follow simple rule. When we are adding 2 or more negative integers, we will simply add them and the result is always going to be a negative integer. We have just seen some examples on the number line. So follow two steps. If you are adding negative integers together, just add them and put the minus sign in front of the number. For example, I'm adding minus 5 and minus 4. Do you know actually what you are doing? You have faced lots of 5 rupees because this minus sign mathematically tells you that you have faced loss. Similarly, this 4, which is having a minus sign in front of it, is telling you that you have faced loss, because integers has been derived to tell you that if you have profit, show it with the plus sign. If you have loss, show it with the minus sign instead of using the loss and profit word. If something is above the ground level, show it with plus sign, and if something is there below the sea level, then show it with the minus sign. So using that concept, you have to understand loss added to loss will always result in loss only. So loss of 5 rupees, loss of 4 rupees, that means total loss of 9 rupees has happened. Suppose the number is bigger. You have lost 225 rupees because there is a minus sign. And then again you have lost 375 rupees. So rule says just add them. So when you add them, you get 600. But do not write 600 directly because this is a loss. So loss of 225, loss of 375. The result will always be loss of 600. You cannot write here 600 directly without writing the symbol of loss. So that is why we say that when we add 2 or more negative integer, that means 2 or more losses, the result is always a loss. It cannot be termed as a positive integer, or you can relate it to the profit. If I have a loss, second time a loss, that means I am having losses only. Let's go and see the different situation where we are adding a negative integer and a positive integer together. Now, in this case, you will have two different situations where one time the result is coming out to be positive, and in the other case, the result is going out to be negative. What gives the result to be a profit and what gives the result to be a negative or loss? What if the two numbers that are given to you is a positive and a negative? The rule says you just subtract the number which has been given to you. Here 10 is a positive number and 4 is a negative number. So that means 10 is profit that you have earned and 4 is the loss that you have faced. So ultimately, as your profit is more than loss, you will be left out with 6 rupees. And how do I reach this? You just subtract, and as such, 10 is greater than 4 and it is having the sign which is of plus. When there is no sign, it is plus sign. Okay, so your result will always be a positive number. So I relate it in real life like I have got a profit of 10 rupees and negative number represent losses. So I've got a loss of 4 rupees. But because I have profit which is higher than my loss, my result will always be profit. Let's see with a bigger number. I have a profit of 134 rupees, but I also faced a loss of 100 rupees. So when I add my transaction, I will see that the loss which I have faced was 100. I'll subtract it from my profit and still I have some money left, that is 34. Now why this is happening? Because 134 is greater than 100. And when there is a positive number and a negative number, you subtract them because the rule says subtract them. And then for this sign, you check if your positive number is greater or the negative number is greater. If your positive number is greater, you will put the sign of positive. Let's see the case, because here we have got the result which is profit all the time, or we can say which is having a positive number as the result, because positive number was greater than the negative number. What if I have the value of negative number greater than the positive number? In this case also, you are going to subtract the given number and put the sign for the negative, as the loss is more. Now check here, minus 5 plus 4. Apart from this sign, if you check normally, 5 is greater than 4. But 5 is with the sign minus. You know what does it mean? It means that 5 is a loss and 4 is a profit. Now, if you have lost 5 rupees and gained 4 rupees, still you have lost 1 rupees, isn't it? So just subtract and put the sign of the number which is greater. Because you have faced loss more than profit, so your result is also a loss. Let's see another example. 119 rupees was my profit, but I lost 309 rupees, because minus sign tells me that it is a loss. And here, this is the profit. As I can see, I have faced loss more than the profit. So my result will always be a loss only. So when you have to add a negative number to a positive number, you will subtract the given numbers and put the sign accordingly. If you take positive number to be the profit one and the negative number to be the loss one, you have to see whether your loss was more or profit was more. If your loss was more, ultimately your result will be loss. But if your profit was more, ultimately your result will be profit. Thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned and wait for my second part of the video that is going to teach you how to subtract integers on the number line, as well as how to subtract integers without number line.